Hi all. In this video, we are going to see about a half-wave dipole antenna. So before directly moving on to see what is a half-wave dipole antenna, we will first discuss what are the basic types of antenna designs that are possible. So we can design various types of antennas, and the design of antenna is based on various factors and for what application we are building a particular antenna. So we can design antenna based on the cost, size, gain, bandwidth, directivity, etc. So before going on to the half-wave dipole antenna, we will first start with what is a wire antenna. So we will start with a wire antenna, then we'll move on to a very small, a short dipole antenna, and then we will see what is a half-wave dipole antenna. So what is a wire antenna? It is nothing but a small piece of wire. Any wire that is capable of radiating, we can call that to be a wire antenna. So wire is very easy to construct and also the cost is less. And one more thing is the wire is capable of radiating in all directions. So a wire antenna is the very low cost and a popular antenna. So the first type of antenna design is the wire antenna, and this is very popular because of the low cost in construction and also because of its radiation pattern. Now we can classify the antenna, the wire antenna, into a dipole antenna and a monopole antenna. So if you see this bottom figure, we call this to be a monopole because this is one conductor that is present and this is connected to ground. So it contains only one conductor that will be radiating. So we call this to be a monopole antenna. So this is some source. This is my transmission line. And when we come to the end, we can see that there is only one conducting wire and this is unbalanced. Unbalanced in the sense one end is a conductor, other end is at zero potential. It is connected to ground. So we call this to be an unbalanced design and this is called as a monopole antenna. Coming to the figure at the top, so we can see that the transmission line is there and at the end we can see that there are two conductors which are identical to each other. So this green line, this is one conductor, this green line is another conductor, and when we observe this diagram, we can see that both the conductors are symmetrical. They have an equal length. So we call this to be a dipole antenna and this is a balanced design where the top portion is also a wire which is a conductor and at the bottom also we have a conducting element. So this is a balanced design and called as a dipole antenna, whereas this is an unbalanced design and we call this to be a monopole antenna. Now, what is a wire antenna? As already said, wire antenna is nothing but a piece of wire. And because of the construction, since it is just a piece of wire, we can say that the manufacturing cost is going to be very low. Now, main feature of wire antenna is that it is capable of radiating in the azimuth directions. It radiates equally in this azimuthal direction and therefore this has a very good radiation pattern. But we must not confuse this with an isotropic antenna. Isotropic antenna radiates equally in all azimuthal directions as well as elevation angles. So it radiates equally among all the angles and that is an isotropic radiator. But the wire antenna radiates equally in the azimuth directions alone. And this type of antennas are used in mobile phones or any mobile applications where we do not know from where we receive the signal. For certain applications like satellite applications, we must know the direction, only then it will be efficient. But the mobile phone is a dynamic device where we keep moving from place to place. So wherever I go, I must be able to receive the signal. In that case, my antenna must be capable of transmitting in all directions as well as receiving in all directions. So in those kind of applications, we can use wire antennas. So as I said earlier, the wire antenna, it transmits across all azimuthal directions. So if it transmits in all directions, for the receiver also, the conditions will be the same. So therefore, equally well receives from all azimuth directions also. So this is about wire antenna. So it is just a piece of wire which is nothing but any conductor, and this wire antenna, it radiates equally in this azimuthal direction, and because it has an equal radiation, this is mostly preferable in mobile applications. Next is about the Hertzian dipole. So this is a very small dipole, means the length of the conductor that we consider is going to be very small. The length is small. This is actually a comparable statement. We construct this length to be very small when compared to the wavelength. Now what the term wavelength means? Wavelength is nothing but the distance for which the wave travels. That is what we call by the term wavelength. And Hertzian dipole is one form of an antenna whose length, this length of the conductor is very small when compared to the wavelength of travel. So since the length is considered to be very small, it is actually this diagram to make us understand the length is big. But practically when you design a Hertzian dipole, it will be very small. So we will not be practically able to figure out where is the starting point and where is the ending point. It will be that much small. Because of such small construction, the current is considered to be constant through the wire, which means, for example, I take this to be the antenna length, and through this my current is going to flow. So it is going to be I of t. Fine. So since this length is very small, this length is very small. So though the current has to go to 0 at the end. If you see the end here, it is open circuited. There is no connection here, which means it is open circuited. Though at the end, at this end, it is open circuit. Similarly, at this end, it is open circuited. So though both the ends are open circuited, in the Hertzian dipole, we consider the current to be constant throughout the length of the dipole. We never assume that the current becomes 0 at the open circuited end, but we consider the current to be constant throughout the wire because the wire is very small when compared to the wavelength. Now when we make this kind of a construction where the length is very small, this affects one main parameter, which is the radiation resistance. So because of a very small construction, the radiation resistance will get affected. And radiation resistance is very important when we match the transmission line to antenna. So we saw in unit 1 already that this is a transmission line. At the end we are going to have an antenna. So this will be having some impedance value, this will be having some impedance value. Only if these two are matched in nature, we can get a very good radiation. But when the radiation resistance of antenna becomes very small, then matching with the transmission line becomes difficult for us. That is the main drawback in Hertzian dipole. So to avoid this drawback, we move on to something called as a half wave dipole. Half wave dipole is nothing but wave means the term wavelength, which is lambda, and half wavelength means we are going to construct an antenna of length lambda by 2. So any antenna that is constructed of a length lambda by 2, we call that to be a half wave dipole antenna. So since we increase the length in the Hertzian dipole, we can get an increase in the corresponding radiation power also. So now coming to what is a half wave dipole antenna, it is again a simple common form of antenna since this is again some conductive element. So half wave dipole means this is a center point and this half will be of length lambda by 4, and similarly this half will be of length lambda by 4, which means the total length of the half wave dipole is going to be lambda by 2. And this antenna is fed at the center, which means we will be connecting the transmission line or any source element at the center to the antenna. So we call this to be a center feeding. So the half wave dipole antenna is fed at the center, and at the two sides we have a symmetrical conductor which is at equal potential. And if you see this point, it is short circuited because we are connecting it to some source element. But if you see this end, this is open circuited. Also this end, it is open circuited, right? Now let us see how the current will flow through the half wave dipole. So before moving on to that, we know that the term half wave means the length of the antenna is going to be half a wavelength at the frequency of operation. So half wave dipole antenna is a highly directional antenna, which means I'll design the antenna for one particular frequency, and at that particular frequency, the length of the antenna will be lambda by 2. So at the frequency at which the antenna operates, we can get the length of the antenna to be of value lambda by 2. And since the radiation power is more, when you see the value of the impedance of this half wave dipole antenna and the transmission line, the Z0 value of transmission line will be mostly 75 ohms in any of the applications. Now we need to design an antenna that can match the 75 ohms of this transmission line. And when you measure the impedance of the half wave dipole, it is almost 73 ohms, which is approximately somewhat, we can equate that to 75 ohms equally. So since the half wave dipole has an impedance of 73 ohms and the transmission line has an impedance of 75 ohms, we can ensure that a good matching is made between the transmission line and the antenna. And that is why the half wave dipole achieves a very good directivity property where we can design the antenna to get a highly directional pattern. Now moving on to the current distribution. So let us consider the first diagram here. This is a transmission line. So if you see here at the one end, we have a source that is connected. At the other end, it is open circuited. So which means the end that is connected to the source, that is the end that is short circuited, the current will be maximum. So we consider that to be Im. And at the open circuited end, the current has to become 0 because it is open circuited. So this will be the distribution of current through a lambda by 4 distance conductor, right? So we consider a construction similar to a transmission line where the two conductors are of length lambda by 4. And when we see the current distribution through this particular construction, at the short circuited end, the current will be maximum and it decays to 0 at the open circuited end. And cos beta z is the direction of propagation and beta is your phase shift constant. So we already saw when we studied the transmission lines subject that only if a phase shift is there, we can ensure that a wave is moving. Right? So we know the propagation constant gamma is equal to alpha plus j beta, where beta stands for the phase shift constant, and only when there is a particular phase shift, it implies that a wave is traveling in your particular conductor. So Im is the maximum current and cos beta z implies the change of phase. Now this is lambda by 4. How can I construct a lambda by 2 dipole in this? So when we unfold, this is a folded form. When you unfold this conductor, when you open up this conductor, what happens? We get this kind of a construction. So at the center point, the current will be maximum. It goes to 0 at the open circuited end. Again, for this lambda by 4 part, at the center point, the current will be maximum and it comes to 0 at this open circuited end. So this is the distribution of current for a half wave dipole. So the current will be maximum at the center where the dipole is fed and it gradually decays to 0 at the two open circuited ends. So this is the diagram of a practical lambda by 2 dipole. So this is a lambda by 4 dipole and this is one lambda by 4 dipole and this is the center where the dipole will be fed. So this is a practical antenna that has been constructed. Now coming to the radiation pattern. So since we saw that a matching is almost done, we have the impedance of the half wave dipole to be 73 ohms, the impedance of the transmission line to be 75 ohms, which means matching is made very much. There is almost a perfect matching between the transmission line and antenna. And because of that, when we draw the radiation pattern, this is a three-dimensional radiation pattern of the dipole. So this is actually highly directional in nature and it contains one big main lobe and there are no side lobes. So side lobes indicate leakage of power, but since there is almost equal matching, we can see in a half wave dipole that side lobes are maximum reduced or almost there are no side lobes present and there will be a very big gigantic main lobe that is present. So this main lobe indicates the directional property of the half wave dipole and the gain will be very high in this particular direction. So this is a three-dimensional radiation pattern of a half-wave dipole antenna, and this structure is similar to a donut. So if you see a donut, that shape will resemble the radiation pattern of a half-wave dipole antenna. So since there is a perfect matching and also it has a very good radiation pattern in the given direction, the half-wave dipole antenna is very much useful in practical applications when compared to the linear wire antenna and also the Hertzian dipole antenna. So this is about the theory of a half-wave dipole antenna. Using these concepts, we will derive the electric field and magnetic field of a half-wave dipole antenna in the next video. Thank you.